And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
I very much enjoy Survive from Stronghold Games, and they came out with Survive, that was like their debut in a sense. They brought out this great new game. Well, now they came out with the 20th edition of Survive, or the 30th edition of Survive, which I reviewed earlier. The 30th edition of Survive was not as spectacular as the first one. I mean, it was a much nicer version, but it did include all the cool bits of the first one. Well, now, today I'm going to be talking about the expansions for the first one. Each of them comes in a bag with a rule set, and all those can be put in the box, which is why they're no longer in bags. We have a 5 to 6 player mini expansion, the Giant Squid mini expansion, and Dolphins and Dive Dice mini expansion. We'll take a look at each one of them and tell you what we think. The 5 to 6 player adds new people, orange and white. So you now have 6 different colors to pick from. Well, I don't think anyone is buying it for the extra colors. You're buying it so that you can have 5 to 6 people in the game. If that happens, if you play with 5 players, you'll take out 2 pieces of each color. And if you play with 6 players, you'll take out 6 of each color. But I prefer to play with the overcrowded scenario, which means you use everybody, because why not? And so, as you have tiles out there at the beginning of the game, some of them are going to have 2 people on them. And it's going to be super crowded, both with the boats and with everything else. It's a hilarious situation, and the game's already funny as the people are drowning in their doom, again, in an abstract way, of course. But with a lot more people on the board, I think it makes the game a lot more fun and a lot more frenzied. The Dolphin expansion adds some dolphins. Now, dolphins are super friendly, and if a dolphin ever shows up in the game, and some of the tiles will introduce dolphins. They were in the original game, will let you swim 3 spaces, but here a dolphin will show up. And if a dolphin is with one of your people, that person is protected. Of course, until some jerk moves that dolphin away from you. But that dolphin will protect you from everything. It will protect you from whales. It will protect you from sharks. It will protect you from even the giant monster or even the giant squid, which we're going to talk about in just a second. And so, a very useful thing to have dolphins moving around and helping. Of course, this isn't all peachy keen here. We also have these new dive dice. What these dive dice do is they replace the monster die that came in the original game. First of all, the one die shows a type, like shark, or the dragon, or a wild, your choice, or an unoccupied boat with nobody in it, or a whale. And when you roll that, and then it rolls the number, that's how far you can move that person each turn. Or if it says D, they essentially will dive down. So if they're here, they can dive down and come up on any unoccupied space on the board. Look, down there. So that's how these dice work. I like that. I like these dice a lot more than the red die from the original game. But what is this sea squid we're talking about? Well, that's the next expansion that comes with these evil sea squids. Now, you can play with them as super annoying or just really annoying. When a sea squid shows up, there's no sea squid on the dice or anything. You just, whenever a whale comes up, you will also bring out a sea squid. Now, whales and sea squids hate each other. So if one moves into the spot with the other, if the whale moves in, kills a sea squid. If the sea squid moves in, kills the whale. Now, if you remember, whales destroy boats. They don't hurt humans, but they destroy boats. Sea squids can't destroy boats. However, what they can do is, if they move into a spot where there is a boat, they can grab one person off that boat and gobble them up. Not only just next to a boat, but if they're next to land and they move next to that land and there's somebody on that land, they can reach off the land and grab that. So when they first show up, they'll show up next to land, and if there's anybody on that land, well then gobbledy, the sea squid just ate them. Now that's if you're playing with them super annoying. If you play them really annoying, which some people play with, when they first show up, they don't eat someone off on the land. So you have a chance to move your people away from the sea squids. But hey, we want to see people, like I said, get massacred right and left, because they're just little plastic things anyhow. So anyway, that's what comes in the Sea Squid expansion. Of these expansions, if there's one that I would get without even thinking, that'd be the 5 to 6 player expansion. Survive works awesome with 6 people, and it's the kind of game people say, oh, what are we going to do? We have 6. Survive. Great game. The giant squids and dolphins and dive dice, you know, I could use them or not. I really like the dive dice a lot. And the dolphins are cool. I also really like the squids. I think the squids are better than the whales. you can argue that the whale can destroy a whole boat, but the squid pulling someone off the boat, eating it, that's pretty cool too. Their models are certainly cool. So yeah, sure, throw these in. I don't think either one of these expansions essential to you having fun in Survive. Well, neither is the 5 to 6 player, I suppose, but that really opens it up to you being able to play with a lot more people, and especially with that crowded island scenario, I very much enjoy that. But like I said, these expansions are small, they fit into the box easily, it's pretty hefty now with all that stuff inside it, but a great game made greater. Survive, the expansions.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.
Do.